Hello and welcome to another edition of my Quarantine Talk. And today I'm very happy to announce two awesome guests. I have Sarah French and Joe KNETTER talking to me. And first of all, if you're a current watcher of my channel, you might be worrying, no, your audio isn't broken. I'm really speaking English because we're doing an English edition of the talk, because a few days ago I talked to Marcel Waltz, and he got me in contact with Sarah and Joe. And there is one film I would like to talk to you about in particular. First of all, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks also to Marcel for connecting us. And when we're speaking about Blind, what I found most fascinating is, Sarah, you play a character that cannot see.
Yes.
And I think even for an actress, that must be a challenging task all day long, because you can see what happens around you, but you are not allowed to react to it, not even with your pupils, not even, how do you turn off one of your main senses?
Let me just say it was a challenge. I've never played a character with a disability before. And when it comes to that, you have to do it a certain way because you don't want to offend anyone, and you just want to be very respectful. First of all, me, Caroline Williams, who's also in the movie, and Marcel, our director, the three of us went to a friend's house who's actually blind, Kevin. He's in the movie as well. He plays Caroline's husband. And we went to...
Let me just interject. She should have put a comma after blind. We don't call him blind Kevin. He's blind, comma,
yes,
Kevin. Not blind Kevin.
He actually went blind a few years ago, so he was newly blind. But we went to his house and kind of spent the day with him to see how he goes through his daily routine. And that really helped Caroline and I kind of figure out what we want to do and how we want to play our characters. But getting back to the question, it was a challenge. The first day of filming, I wasn't doing it properly. And Marcel and Joe were like, you got to, try to work on that and play it a certain way. Because I just didn't know. And I didn't want to look up online how other people played blind, because I kind of wanted to do something a little different. And, I just took what I learned from Kevin, and I did look up some, videos on YouTube on how, just to see what other people did. And I kind of mixed the two together and kind of created my own, way, how I feel I would have played that character.
Yeah. I mean, what we did is when she was learning the script and rehearsing, I told her specifically, don't watch movies with other people playing blind. Don't. You need to develop your character, develop how you're going to deliver the dialogue and all that. Because the easiest thing to do once you have your own character created is just to adjust the eyes. And that's what it was. Instead of copying what other people have done, you did your own thing and just went to them for some of the eye movements. Because you weren't doing it totally wrong. It's just your eyes were a little bit off.
Well, and they were kind of, I was playing like I would have, I thought I was doing it in a different way, but I wasn't. But
yeah, welcome to Netter and French, where the first answer we're going to give to a question is how much we suck. We fucked up. No,
but that's the thing. Like, you don't know till you're on set and in the mode. You're in character, but you don't really know what you're going to do till you get there and you get to that point. We did rehearsals, and I it was more for blocking and stuff like that. So we weren't full in character at that point. But it wasn't until the first day of shooting that I knew, what I had to do and how I had to play it.
Well, I mean, the key was being respectful because of what we were dealing with, and knowing what they go through is awful. And for her, it was also dealing with people. You've got a camera moving past you, you've got crew people, you've got other actors, you've got sounds. You'll never. Have you seen Blind?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
Okay.
Marcel sent me a press screener of Blind and of Rootwood, so I've seen both movies.
Very cool.
Well, one thing you don't notice, Marcel and Thomas Riss, the DP, did a fantastic job of shooting it in a way that you can't tell. It rained through half the shoot. I mean, it was raining. In LA, it never rained. But 5 of our 10 days, it was raining in a glass house with drops hitting. And so we have that going on. You've got the rain. And I knew it was going to be challenging for her to play that role. But I also knew she was ready for something like that. And it really, the role was my love letter to her, of giving her something she could sink her teeth into. And the first time she read the script, she cried. And I knew, okay, she understands
I felt it right away. I felt the Faye character instantly, and he knows how to write for me. He's an amazing writer. He's been doing this a long time. And we've worked, that's actually how we met. We met on my very first movie, Pajama Party Massacre. And then we did a handful of movies after that. And then it was a long stretch before we worked together again.
Yeah. I cut her head off in her first movie. I killed her.
But we didn't really get together till our third movie together.
Yes. Well, I mean, technically, we got together sort of on the premiere for the second movie. And I pushed her away for so long before I finally had to give in. And I was like, all right, okay, you can kiss me, I guess. And,
anyway.
But it was a number of years we weren't working together.
Yeah.
And this Marcel is a good friend. He's very talented.
I love Marcel.
And it allowed us to kind of come together and work. And it was fun writing for her because she was ready for a more mature role.
I was ready to sink my teeth into it. And, you know, a role like that, it's, you know, you have to be ready for something like that. And I'm so grateful. And, you know, I love you so much. I love Marcel. Everybody on the team was amazing to work with, supportive. And getting back to the blind thing, how Caroline and I play blind in the movie are different. I don't know if you noticed that, but because Caroline's blind since birth and I'm newly blind. So we would be different. You know, we would act it out in a different way.
And you know, for her fully becoming that character, it was weeks after we wrapped where she would still be reaching in the cupboard without looking. And she'd be in the bathtub in the middle of the day crying. It
was a very emotional roller coaster of a part. I mean, it really was. I became that character. And I feel in order for you to, you know, really convey, you know, on screen a certain character, you have to basically become that character. Yeah. And I'm so grateful, and I can't wait for everyone to see this movie. It's such a beautiful film.
Yeah, it affected my love life greatly. For like 3 weeks after we wrapped, she would just be crying, and it's hard to get sexually aroused when someone's crying. At least for me, I've developed over the years the skill that I can get hard through anything. But it was a little bit of a bummer, you know.
You don't have to edit that out unless this is something.
I wasn't planning on.
Welcome to our world.
The thing is, what I saw when I watched Blind, and by the way, I think Marcelo told us it's going to come out in the German-speaking territories around October, November. Around, okay, cool. I don't have the release dates for the States.
Yeah, we don't have. I haven't heard any of it yet.
Nothing yet.
But I think it's scheduled for this year, if I recall correctly what Marcel said. And what I found most interesting is because there's one mistake that many movies make, that many actors make when they're playing characters with disabilities. They're playing a disability and not a character.
Exactly.
And that is something that I found that you avoided greatly, that you managed very well. And also, Joe, you wrote the movie. What was your idea, your motivation for coming up with the script?
Really, it started with Marcel. I mean, I don't know if Marcel told the story, but if he didn't, I'll tell it. And if he did, I'll tell it again. He had a dream one night that he was shooting a movie in his house with a blind girl. In the dream, he had a crew working and everything, and it was somebody stalking a blind girl. And when he woke up the next morning, he wrote the word blind down. And that night, he came to our house to watch a movie. and mentioned the dream, and we started talking about it, and on different ideas what we could do. We could shoot it in his house. We could do it in a manageable budget. Sarah could play the lead, and once he said she could play the lead, I knew I had to write it because I knew it was going to be a great role for her. So for me, really, it's all starts. My style of writing is I'm more known for fucked up stuff, similar to Marcel. We're both known for like the gore and the torture and the heavy shit,
crazy weird shit.
But my favorite thing is characters. I like characters.
Oh.
Even when you do a basic slasher, it's so much better when you care about people. So
you have to care about people.
Number one, I set out to make every character different.
Yep.
Let's spend the whole first act, the first half an hour, just to get to know the main people, because of the three main leads, we've got two blind people and we've got a mute that is a motivational speaker. So it's a whole weird situation. I mean, everybody was pushed kind of out of their comfort zone.
Oh my God, completely. Completely.
And I knew, being what it was, when you're making a movie on a lower budget, you can't compete with huge studio movies. We couldn't have massive action sequences. So it allows you to do something different. So obviously I love The Strangers. And we talked about The Strangers kind of in the beginning of this, but doing it slightly different because we couldn't have that big fight. No. It wasn't going to work. So we needed to focus on our own thing, which was the people. Instead of it being a home invasion, we kind of called it a home visitation. And for me, it was important too that Pretty Boy, our killer, people feel for him a little bit because he's, obviously going through weirdness.
Do you want to give everyone kind of a rundown what the movie is about? Just so.
No.
No, that sounds like work. Thank you. No.
I don't remember. I just wrote it. In the movie, Sarah plays Faye Day, and she's an actress that has just had her first big, huge hit movie called Fogstorm. And she's bought a house in the Hollywood Hills, kind of her dream home. And she has laser surgery, so she doesn't have to wear glasses or contacts, and she loses her vision. So when we meet her in the movie, it's been 2 years since she's lost her vision, and she's trying to adapt to life. Her character is someone that's always loved movies and films and going to the cinema. So losing that completely has just devastated her, and she doesn't know what to do. Especially, there's a lot of little things in the movie that people don't pick up on that have to do with Hollywood and what it's like out here, because it's tough. If you notice in the movie, she has two friends that she's met since she went blind. Nobody she was friends with before is still her friend because that's Hollywood.
Yep.
If you can't do something for somebody, they're gone. And it was important for us to showcase friends because that was what the project was. Everybody that worked on that movie was a friend. We go out for tacos every week. We just hang out. So it allowed us to just go, hey, you want to make a movie? I should point out, the night of Marcel's dream, we wrapped the movie 5 weeks to the day later. So we went from him having a dream to finishing the movie in 5 weeks. So it was balls to the wall.
And I had a feature to shoot literally right before we started shooting this. I headed up to the East Coast to shoot a feature called The Special, and I was the lead female in that. And literally the day I got back here, we were in rehearsal.
We were in rehearsal, and we started shooting the next day.
We started shooting the next day.
So she was right into
it was crazy.
It was easy. I've spent a lot of time with Marcel. He's one of our best friends. And his husband, Dominic. We should mention Dominic.
Love you, Dominic.
So I knew the house in and out. So it was easy to kind of write around the house.
Yeah.
I know Marcel's style. I know what he's going for. It was...
and our DP, Thomas Rist.
Yes.
Amazing DP, who was also DP on Rootwood. Marcel, Joe, and Thomas, amazing team together.
Yeah.
I mean, those three guys,
yeah, it's just amazing. We're just amazing.
Just how you guys all work together. I mean, it was a very cohesive group, all of us.
Well, we had fun. We just had fun on set, and
that's what it's about. It's we do this for the paycheck? No. We do this because we love it. We love what we do. We have a good time, and let's make some magic together.
And also pay our bills.
And try to pay our bills.
The paycheck is some of it, but
But that's also something I always feel when someone says to independent filmmakers, you're doing this just for the money. I say, nope, that's not possible. That's independent filmmaking. You're working your ass off for little to no thank yous afterwards, and that is something that I know because I also directed a short feature. It's not even a full feature, but I know the process of filmmaking, and I know all the limitations that smaller budgets bring. So I always admire work. And when you're talking about the style of Marcel as a director, I also want to mention the music, which is, I think, a huge part that makes so many things work in a certain way, and that I also really enjoyed. And Joe, if you talked about the inspiration and the idea behind Blind, I've heard that it's planned as the first part of a trilogy.
Yes, that is correct.
And the thing is, and now comes a very difficult question. Without spoiling anything for Blind, for the ending or for something, where would you take the story or the characters in sequels?
Well, that's hard to not spoil. I think I can go ahead. I think I can go ahead and say part two. It just continues. It picks right up where the first one leaves off. So we get to see what's going on. And the beauty with a sequel is, like, I love old school slashers. I love horror. And the sequel, you get to go a little bit more crazy, slightly more. Now, without giving spoilers, our sequel to Blind is still very much Blind. It's still got the beauty. It's got the slow moments. It's got all the character development. But it's also got a little more of a, a little more brutality in it mixed in, but a lot of twists and turns, and still focused on the characters.
Very much so.
And fuck, we hope we can get all three of them made, because it's, for us, the trilogy is the complete story. It's three movies that tell the story we're trying to tell, with Faye, and then Pretty Boy, which is Pretty Boy is also the other lead.
Yeah, he's just as important in the trilogy.
And played by our friend Jed Rowan, who's great.
Jed is amazing. I mean, he really brought that character to life.
He did, because he had to sell it through subtle movements. And that mask, man, made by Ken Hall, who did the Puppet Master and the Strangers masks. Mm-hmm. That mask is, when we saw it in person the first time, we're like, fuck yeah. That thing is creepy.
I had to stare at that thing without staring at it. You know what I mean? It was so weird. I was like, the first time I saw him wearing it in person, I was like, okay, this is really freaking me out. I'm going to have some nightmares after this.
And that was all Marcel. I mean, the first night we talked, we came up with when we were throwing ideas, we came up with the ending. We came up with a lot of the scenes, what we wanted to do. And then it became time to, what are we going to have the killer look like? Because that's big. That's huge.
It's very important.
And he wanted a Ken doll. He said, I had an idea for a Ken doll with a blue suit and like a Ken doll mask type thing. So luckily, we're friends with Ken Hall, who quickly got that mask together for us.
Yeah, because short period of time, we didn't have much time for anything.
No, we literally went from, hey, I had a dream, to wrapping in 5 fucking weeks.
It's the truth.
Ridiculous.
That's a roller coaster.
5 days. I mean, I had a limited time, so it was off to the races. But again, I think me and Marcel work together very well, because I know how I write things. 100%. He's going to immediately bring his thing to that, which is the beauty, which is the glitter.
Marcel's a very visionary director. Yes. Like, he is so good at what he does.
And he's got a team.
Great team.
Kai edited it, great. And then obviously the sound design was fucking...
Klaus. He also did... Most of the team that worked on Blind worked on Rootwood.
Yes.
So we were able to... They know how to work so well together.
No, Klaus's score is, in a horror thriller type thing, like what we have, the score becomes a character. It really is a character.
It's just as important.
And it drives that movie.
Well, and we got original music from, original artists.
Like, one of her favorite bands is a band called Oceans of Slumber. And they have a side project they're starting up called Genoa. So we got a song from them, which is fantastic. I mean, I love the score and the soundtrack. I could listen to it all day, but that would be weird, you know?
I listen to it all day.
She listens to it all day, but she's weird. Obviously, she's with me, you know?
No.
10 years now.
But what I want to mention, because I think it's very important to have a respect for people with disabilities and for what they're going through. And there is one very interesting project in Vienna that I don't know is anywhere else, if there is something like that in America or in LA specifically. There is a charity organization who does something that's called Dinner in the Dark, which is you sitting in a room without light,
Yeah.
completely engulfed in black, and you're having dinner, but all the waitresses and waiters and people who are serving you and assisting you are blind.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
they are telling you what to do. They are guiding you. They are showing you this experience. I haven't done it yet,
Yeah.
but I'm planning on for years, because I think that's interesting. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is very. We have something like that in LA, but it's not for charity.
Yeah.
You just eat in the dark, and they charge you like $500 a person. But
Like based on your senses.
but they say like your food tastes different and everything when you can't see it. You know,
It's really
and
interesting.
they say they're making the food themselves when they just get it from Burger King and say, "Oh, that's my new burger." It's called it's called something.
yeah. It's interesting because like I have to eat with the lights on. I have a beard. I end up with more food in my beard than my mouth if I can't
Whether
see
the
properly.
lights on or off, you end up with food in your damn
Yeah.
beard.
I'm a firm believer that eating is kind of like fucking. You need the lights on, or you don't know what's going to end up in your mouth.
I should really try to time my drinking. That's or else something is going to end up on my laptop. That's not supposed to be there.
I'm just waiting for you to drink, and the minute I see you pick the glass up, what can I say that's horrible?
Challenge accepted. Actually, I'm gonna be part of like a YouTube format called Movie Warriors in I think it's on next Saturday, which is just a mini game show from YouTubers, and there's going to be a game like this. I have to put water in my mouth, and the other person is going to read funny porn movie titles to me, and I'm trying to not laugh.
Yeah.
I have been trying. It's not working well. I always laugh when I hear shit like that. But getting serious again, with Blind, there was one character I felt the most, and that's the character of Luke, because usually I don't do videos at 2 a.m. in the morning, so I'm usually very loud. Yes. I am a very loud person. I do a lot of work on YouTube. I am a teacher, so I talk all day long in a very loud voice. And so I had something, I think it's called a polyp in English as well, on my vocal cords, which I had to have removed last year. And after that surgery, I wasn't allowed to talk for a week. So a week of complete silence, and at best a month of not opening my mouth. And and this is where I felt Luke, because I did exactly what he did. I got a text-to-speech app on my phone, and I communicated via text that's been read out. Yeah. And I remember being in the hospital and getting the visitation from the doctors. And the doctors, of course, well, because they're used to that, asking, and everything okay? And I was like, yeah, like, I'm going to give you a fucking answer, idiot. So, yeah. But he was very surprised when I just picked up my phone and typed something in, and then I played it over a speaker, and even the doctor who who leads the entire station, said, "I have never seen anybody do that before." And I think, and I also did videos on YouTube with text-to-speech apps in the background. So I think you can adapt to new situations really quick. But I think a story and movie like Blind is best experienced by someone who knows certain things and felt certain things. Because of course I was afraid that I'm going to lose my voice.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Because of that,
because that, like, especially for what you do, you need the voice.
Yes.
It's the important thing.
And you don't know me personally, but I never shut the fuck up.
He doesn't either.
Believe it or not, I have a problem with speaking, too much sometimes.
Holy crap! If you take away my voice, what else am I going to do 90% of the day?
Yeah. And that's really what we were going for with all the characters, was presenting disability in a different way, and making sure that we were respectful. Yes. But it makes you think. Like Tyler Gallant, who played Luke in it, was fantastic because he couldn't talk. Everything had to be facial expressions.
That's just as hard.
But he still has to learn the lines because he's still got to react to what's being said. We really wanted to make all of the leads someone that you'd classically consider disabled, but are also people that haven't let it stop them. Within the confines of the story, Faye's the only one who's kind of given up on life. And this is her journey to kind of try to take life back because, the Sophia character has been blind since birth and she's just having fun in her life.
Yeah.
Luke, he's a motivational speaker that can't talk, but he still doesn't let him stop him. He wants to get out and help people and make people feel better. And that's really what we wanted to show is no matter what, you still keep going.
Yes.
You can adapt, but it makes you think. Like for me, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is simply when she goes to the fridge and she's standing there touching everything in the fridge for like 35 seconds. Because you go, fuck, I get high all the time and spend 20 minutes in front of the fridge just staring at shit. Imagine if you couldn't see it, you had to touch everything. You wouldn't know when shit's expired or, think about that. Oh, cool. This is a can of, this is an energy drink. Nope, it's Coors Light. I mean, it fucks with you.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you like think about how precious, things are. And it was really interesting, to play that character. And, I couldn't see, even when there's scenes where I'm eating, I couldn't see myself eating. Even something like that, you look at your food when you eat. You always do. You don't think about it, but you do.
Yeah.
And I had to use, in a scene, I had to use chopsticks for sushi. That was hard, but I nailed it.
She's not very good with chopsticks, let's be honest.
No, I am now.
You got better with it.
I'm much better.
Yeah.
I cannot even eat with chopsticks when I can see. I mean, I would take them and just try to stab the sushi and hope it stays on.
Because that works, and also because we have things called forks now. We can just use a fork or your hand.
Something, yes. And
but no, Tyler was.
He really nailed it.
And you're right. If you've experienced any of this in real life at all, you can really feel the story much more because that's what we wanted. We didn't want jump scares. No. We didn't want scares. We just wanted to build tension and make you uncomfortable.
It's a very slow, it's more of a slow build movie, but that we did that on purpose because nowadays everything's just so either they're jump scares or they're just, cut. Whereas we have mostly long shots in the film. And that really helps to build the tension and it helps to build the feel. Even when we're in the middle of a scene, some scenes go for, the end.
Yeah, her monologue at the end is 6 minutes.
It's like 6.5 minutes. And, we didn't cut once.
Yeah, we did 3 takes of that from each angle and she never dropped a word.
But it helps.
Amazing to see it. And equally amazing is, without spoiling, is Jed. Yeah. Having to sit next to her for that long, because you've worked on movies,
Yeah.
People think it's easy to just stand or sit somewhere. It's not.
No.
When you're sitting there, somebody's delivering dialogue, and you're not supposed to move. every part of you starts wanting to twitch and freak
You
out.
stayed still the whole time, and props to Jed for that, because that's not easy.
And I mean, it just, we were very happy with Blind and how it turned out, because it was just friends making a movie that we thought, hey, let's just all work together and have fun and make a movie. And I think when we started filming, all of a sudden we were like, oh shit, this is kind of different than we were thinking.
Completely.
Maybe. And I mean, we're just proud of it. We're happy of it. We're happy it's done well in the festivals. We're happy it's going to get a release. You know, and hopefully we get as much attention as like Rootwood's got, because with Rootwood just coming out, everybody's been loving that movie.
Yeah, Rootwood's doing really well.
Which I had nothing to do with.
That was before Joe's time. That's when I first met Marcel.
That's what I was gonna ask you next. I mean, I just wanted to say I think just the slow scenes in Blind, especially a scene like in front of the fridge, I think is a great way of showing people, especially the things they take for granted, especially the things that nobody thinks about the entire day. You don't open your mouth and say, oh, I'm so lucky that words can come out of me. Yeah,
you do. You take everything for granted, especially during 100%. A time like now.
Oh my God.
We're all kind of in a weird situation in the world where you start thinking, fuck, remember when you used to be able just to go out and see friends? And now that's kind of...
Or just go hiking, or just, you know, just doing your everyday activities. You can't anymore. Yeah. I mean, hopefully it won't last too much longer, but Jesus.
And that's the beauty of, like, I guess the technology we have is we can do this.
Yes.
You know?
I have never in my entire life had a beer with someone over Skype.
Yeah.
This is basically my day now.
Oh, you're having wine. Yeah. Are you drinking wine?
I'm having wine. I'm having a spritzer. That's not just wine. So, but the thing is, that's something you can adapt very quickly. And at the first time when we got quarantined and heard we gotta stay at home, it was like, what am I gonna do? My girlfriend was like, fuck, what am I going to do at home? And I looked at my collection of 12,000 DVDs, at my PlayStations, at my shelf with unopened, unplayed games. And I said, like, if they quarantine us for 3 years, I'm still not going to be bored once.
Yeah.
That's
you still
no way. Yeah. I'm getting bored.
Yeah, you have, and that's the thing with, like, I still like, do you collect physical media, or is everything streaming?
No, everything is physical media. I don't like streaming.
No, we play records every day. We buy everything on vinyl.
We buy CDs.
And that's with technology, though, is like internet goes down, people are going to be fucked.
Yeah, what do people do?
You know, we still have like the physical media, because we love physical media. We like to hold things.
Well, we like to support. And,
I started in the industry as a writer with books. I have novels and short story collections and stuff. And so I like physically holding things and people holding things, because there's something to be said about reading liner notes in like a record or a CD and special features and all that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get that in, you know, streaming and stuff like that. You never do.
No. And like, we'll tell this story. Like, we were going into quarantine, and you know, we're facing a couple months together in an apartment in LA, which is not it's LA, so we have not a big apartment. And it's like, all right, there's toilet paper's running out, people are lined up at the grocery store, people are buying all this, we're getting locked down. And I said, all right, Sarah, I'm gonna be back. And I left, and I had one place I was going, and that was to the porn shop to buy her a new dildo, because I thought, if we're going to be stuck for 2 to 3 months here, she's going to need some solo time. So I'm going to go get her a new dildo. And so that was it. That's all I rushed out for. And cinnamon roll flavored lube. Because, you know.
Because why not, right?
I wanted her while she was pleasuring herself to smell breakfast.
Welcome to our world, guys.
It's true. I went and bought her a dildo.
This is a true story. I was like,
fuck toilet paper. Here's a 7-inch dong.
Actually, I think that's my new favorite dildo story, and I just heard one from Marcel where they bought a dildo as a prop for Blood Feast, and they went into the shop. They got the person working at the shop showed them one, and he was talking to Kai. I think he was there with Kai, and they started talking about what it would look like when they cut it up and put blood on it, and so and she was like looking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's also a very, very nice a story.
Marcel does like to chop dicks off in movies. That's he's done that a few times.
Not in the movies I did with him.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But that's something that happens in many slasher movies. Actually, usually not the American stuff, because it's always okay to chop heads off, but showing boobs, that's like criminal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, about it.
Yeah. It's definitely more accepted over there. Here it's still the gore is fine.
It's a taboo over here. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's a fucking naked body, big deal.
I know.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
The only thing that I would be very much interested in is how all these conservatives react when they notice they have boobs themselves.
Yeah.
They are there.
They are there.
I think. Yeah. I think.
I don't think they put them, though.
I think 52%. I think 52% of the world's population are women. So basically, there's more boobs than people in the world.
And also,
we're still scared of them.
And
why?
Let's be completely honest. They say 34% of men are overweight. So men also have tits too. You know, they're a little hairier. They're a little more nipply, but you know.
You have been waiting for that one, right? But sadly, I'm empty, so I,
you know.
Let's go. Thank you.
But the thing is,
we're stoked about everything for Blind, and
so excited.
And Marcel, you know, we've got a future, all of us together doing stuff, which is wonderful, because it's hard in LA to find real friends. It really is. It's industry friends and people you can't count on. Yeah. But with our group that worked on Blind and the people that worked on Rootwood, we have real friends that, you know, they support you no matter what. Mm-hmm. And they don't care that, you know, you get a gig, because there's so much of that where she'll get a gig and half the city hates her. Well, why? I should have got that. That should have been me. Mm-hmm. I should have been blowing Joe all this time.
Hey, it's been a lot of work, okay?
No, but I know that you have that in every single field, and that's something that I personally hate. Why can't I enjoy someone else's work and try to, well, care about my own fucking business? That's something people are usually not very good about.
I think we can all work together, because at the end of the day, we get to play, and it's dumb that we get to do that, and people like it, and we should just all support each other. But really, they should more just support us all the time and buy our movies, buy everything that's ours, because we're the best.
And by the way, speaking about Marcel, what I found interesting, I met him like once in, I think, 2014 at a horror convention. And when I started sending out the invites to my talks, he was the first person to react to my invitation. I wasn't even done sending out the Facebook invites to the first, I think, 25 people or so. He was like one of the first that got the message, and before I sent out the last, which by the way was copy and paste, yeah, he already replied and said, "Yeah, let's do that. That sounds awesome." Wow. And when I did a review of his funny face, I actually asked him whether he wants to send me like a found footage style opening for the review, and he did that as well. Oh, and
Marcel's
I told him without trying to suck up, because I'm nobody who does that. I'm always honest. He is the only person that I know in all of filmmaking, period, that can do found footage movies right.
Yeah.
Because I hate them. I usually really hate found footage movies because I find,
I don't like them. I won't watch them.
things like the Blair Witch Project, it just hurts my eyes. Stuff like Paranormal Activity is boring as fuck. And let's not get into shit like, what was it called? The Devil Inside or something. That's just crap. But when Marcel does it, he does it differently, and he does it well. And you have characters, you have character development, and he only uses it in part of the time, which makes it work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. That's, for me, from the outside looking in, it's what I enjoyed about Rootwood, was the mix of cinematic with the found footage.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a cinematic movie.
Yeah.
With elements of found footage. And even the found footage looks really good.
Yeah. Because everybody knows how to use a camera now. Nobody's going around like that filming yet. Nobody does that.
We have, when we rewatched the movie again, and we technically have 3 different looks.
Yeah.
So we have the cinematic found footage.
Yes.
And then we have the found footage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The
headpiece, that's more of the cinematic found footage, and it still looks really good. Like, I was watching it, I was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the lighting we had was natural lighting. We did have a lot of other lights too, but a lot of it was natural lighting, which was really nice. It always adds a really nice look, especially with the cameras that Thomas has.
And again, it's the acting, which is where a lot of the indie films kind of fall flat. Tyler, again, is great in Rootwood, and Alyssa Dowling is amazing. She's amazing in Rootwood, where you buy into every moment of her character. And you're solid in it too, Frenchie. Congratulations.
And what really helped was, so Alyssa and I have been friends, I think now since we moved out here.
Yeah, 5 years.
Close to 5 years.
And I've known her for like 10.
And Joe's known her for a very long time. And so we were already friends. And then, when we were rehearsing, Tyler came. That was the first time I met Tyler, if I remember correctly. So we all kind of got to get to know each other, because that was so important for this role, because it's mostly just the 3 of us, throughout the whole movie.
And you're supposed to be friends.
And we're supposed to be friends. So we have to be believable. So I think that really helped. We all kind of just really clicked and connected. And now we're all really good friends. Like, I go to the gym with Tyler every week when the gym was open. We trained together and, really become great friends over the years. And, he was in Blind.
And Kwame did the effects. He built the monster in Rootwood.
Yeah, Kwame Head did the effects. He built the monster, and he also played the monster as well in Rootwood.
And then
and he also did Blind as well.
Yeah. It was, because I'm the same as you. Like, found footage, I do like the original Blair Witch, just because when I saw that, I was pretty high, and I saw it at a drive-in theater surrounded by trees. So it was impactful for me. But like, for me, found footage, I flip through like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and if it's found footage, I just don't watch it.
Well, it's way too oversaturated now.
I'm the same with zombies, and this is when you tell me that your movie's about zombies.
Yeah, I did a zombie movie last year called Bridge of the Doomed. We shot that in Vegas, and that, we have Michael Pare, we have Robert Lasardo in that one.
I love Robert. Robert is such an inspiration. I had him. I was hosting a convention where he was a guest, and he's such an incredible speaker. When he gets up and says something, it's just okay. I want to listen to nothing else for the next, hopefully, long time.
Awesome.
So
he's great to work.
He's a great guy.
I'm working with him again. I have a post-apocalyptic vampire film I'm doing once this shit ends.
Bloodthirst? Is it Bloodthirst?
Yeah, it's called Bloodthirst.
With Tara Reid.
Yeah, Tara Reid's in it. Robert Lasardo. A lot of great people, and
we also did we should throw out. We did a werewolf movie last year. with Richard Grieco called Desert Moon that was directed by Thomas Haley.
We shot that basically right after Blind,
who played Officer Jacobs in Blind. He's also a director, and so we did a werewolf feature out in the middle of the desert with him.
Joe wrote that one. I'm in that one. Grieco, a lot of great people. Tyler is also in that one as well.
We actually have a scene in the movie because I'm not really an actor, but occasionally I get pulled into shit
because of his look.
I'm so beautiful. I'm just so beautiful that they have to. But we have a scene where we're making out in it, and it was awkward.
It was so awkward.
It was awkward. I mean, I'm used to the people watching us fuck, but not the cameras. That was kind of weird. And the lighting. People watching is fine. We do that all the time.
Yeah, be honest. You wrote that into the script.
I wasn't supposed to play the part though, because I don't like acting, because I'm not good at it. I can kill people, and I can be an asshole, and I can rape, I can pillage, but I can't say words. Even if I write them, it just throws me off.
But you know what? You did a great job.
Of course I did.
And I can't wait for you guys to see that one too. So many good things coming out this year and happening this year. We're not going to let this whole, pandemic stop us from that. We're still going to stay positive and keep trucking, because we have to.
Because here's the thing is, when this happened, after I bought the dildo first, but then I went on Amazon Prime and I ordered these laser lights that do patterns on the ceiling so that we can just eat edibles and get high and listen to records on the floor and look at laser lights. And that's pretty much what we're doing now. We're trying to be creative still. I'm writing.
I'm still auditioning.
She's still auditioning. There's, nothing shooting now, but people are still.
Yeah, we're staying active any way we can. We have to. And, I'm, rehearsing Bloodthirst.
Yes.
Because we're going to be shooting that literally right when this shit ends. Because we were supposed to be shooting it. April 6th was the day we were supposed to start.
We got pushed.
And then it got pushed because of this. But yeah, so we're remaining hopeful and, still working at it.
And hopefully, this ends, we get to jump into Blind 2 relatively soon.
Yep.
And continue that story.
And what I found most interesting is how you just explained, this puzzle of actors, actresses, directors, movies, how they're being made, how it basically all flows when you got to say when everything is working nicely, when you're on set with someone and he says, hey, I have a great idea as well. Would you be in my movie? Yes, please. Thank you. That is something that I miss. But
it's so important.
If I haven't overlooked anything right now, Ruth, what was the first time you worked with Marcel? How did you get into contact? How did you get started with Marcel?
Basically how it happens, especially here in LA, is LA's huge, but it's small. Mm-hmm. So I was at Alyssa's house for Thanksgiving, and that's actually where we met Marcel. Mm-hmm. So we spent the night with him, just hanging out, getting to know each other. And then, a few other times after that, there'd be little parties or get-togethers where I would see Marcel. Mm-hmm. And he told me he had this script, and he was working on it, and he thought I'd be great for the Aaron character. And he asked me to read it and check it out and see what I thought. That's kind of how it all started. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's so important to network. Networking out here, especially out here, is so important. And being on time, being, nice, friendly. I mean, it's all that plays a part in this.
We believe in things happening organically. Like when we're out and about at things, we're not walking around handing out business cards. We're just talking to people and being ourselves. And like Marcel liked the vibe and brought you into Rootwood. He, at that point, the first thing I wrote for Marcel, we haven't shot yet, but it was a kind of re-envisioning of his Le Petit Mort. And I right away at that point knew his style, what he was going for.
No, that was after Rootwood, right?
Yeah, right after Rootwood. Because he'd already worked with you, but I didn't go to set actually.
No.
Why they're filming.
You didn't really know Marcel until.
Well, it was in passing, but we hadn't started Taco Tuesdays yet. And
that's where it really started.
I'm a firm believer that as the boyfriend, I shouldn't go to sets I'm not involved in because it makes people uncomfortable to have the boyfriend there.
Well, and luckily for me, he's in the industry. You know, he gets it. If he wasn't in the industry, it would be really hard. I don't know how people do it, but that's where I'm very fortunate because he gets it. Because listen, I do some nudity.
Yes.
I do sex scenes.
I had to choreograph her sex scene in a movie with another guy. I had to be the one to walk through and go, okay, here, do this. She's going to take your hands and place them over her breasts.
Yeah. Because he was like, so how are you? So, you know, the sex scene was just written in the script. It didn't describe anything.
No.
And then
other than the cum shot.
Oh,
we knew the cum shot was going to go on her tits, but.
But he's like, so he asked me, so how do you guys think you're going to do this? And I was like, I don't know, you know, I just do it, you know, I just go in there and do my thing, whatever. And he's like, okay, this is what I think you should do. And then he choreographed it. I'm like, it's a great idea. So that's what we did.
So I'm just comfortable with everything.
Because that, it can't be easy for any boyfriend or girlfriend if they're boyfriend, you know what I mean? That's not easy.
That is such a funny story because I had the same situation last year because I only cameoed in another Austrian film production where also networking was very important because we did this movie and Robert, the guy basically that's not me on the poster, is awesome at networking, and he made a short film festival where we showed other people's movies, great movies, and one of these directors approached me in the end and said, hey, I have a small part in my next picture for you, would you be interested? And I was like, yes, awesome, send me the script. And she sent me the script and I read the script and my girlfriend was like, oh, so you're in the movie, what's it gonna be like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, yeah, so I'm the assistant of a pimp and I get to hit a hooker and then she kisses me and then I'm gonna grab her ass.
Okay.
And I was like, holy shit, I was thinking for a long time, how the fuck am I gonna tell her that? Yeah. And in the end, I just did, and she was like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
Go ahead. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Right.
Good.
That wouldn't be her reaction.
She got it. Yeah.
She wouldn't get it. If I had to make out with a girl in a movie, she'd be like, no, you're not doing that. You realize, though, it's just, like in that one in particular, they're in a tent, there's a camera, there's a sound, there's lights, it's uncomfortable.
It's not a sexual thing. You're working and it's weird and, you know, it's just what you do. Like,
yeah, it's comfortable. I mean, you got to be comfortable with it, you know, and I'm comfortable with it. Nothing phases me because I know I'm a catch and that, you know, she ain't gonna ever do any better than me. And she knows that. And she's got to give me everything I ask for.
No, but yeah, it's, you know, it's very important that he's supportive and, you know, I'm grateful that he is because it would be really hard, you know, if he wasn't, we'd be fighting all the time and who knows what else.
Yeah. But we don't fight that much. No. You know.
What the fuck?
Hey, now you're going to get it, bitch. We don't fight because we fake fight. We have fake arguments where we'll just say nasty shit to each other and we just laugh about it. But half the time we're being serious. So we get to say the shit we want to say and the people laugh and we're like, okay, cool, I got away with that one.
Pretty much.
That's how much it goes. But it's been interesting, you know, because I think there's a lot of relationships that aren't going to survive this quarantine because it is a lot of spend with someone.
I think we only fought like once, and it's been like a month for us. Yep. Like locked on or whatever.
And it really was, the argument was when it first started because you still wanted to go out and do everything and I told you can't. They don't want you to, and you were just being a little diva bitch.
Well, listen, okay, I'm a Taurus and Tauruses don't like change. I hate change. And the fact that I do what I do on an everyday basis was, I couldn't comprehend that. So we had a little fight, but we're fine now. Yeah.
It wasn't like a fist fight for long. I mean, it was over in like 5 seconds.
I mean, I had him down on the ground in like 2 seconds.
She put me in a triangle choke and I started licking her pussy and then I passed out. That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
I'm also very interested in seeing how many relationships can survive this quarantine, because I mean I'm also very lucky, because today I had to tell my girlfriend, you remember this very big comfortable bed that we have, the one that I put 2 film posters next to so I can do my shitty videos on YouTube. Yeah, you're gonna need to sleep on the couch. I need that room at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yikes.
And also that was not a problem. And she was like, okay, yeah, do your thing.
Hey,
So,
you gotta keep.
And that's important. Yes. When people are in relationships, you got to find people that match up, that you just get each other, and like we get each other from the beginning. We kind of just bonded, and that's wonderful that you have that too, because especially if you're in the industry you're in, and you have to have the other person's complete support, or it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
it just doesn't.
100%.
Yeah, because it's especially when I imagine your timetables, I don't think that you don't have a 9-to-5 job.
No.
Sometimes you're gonna shoot at 2 in the morning. Sometimes you're gonna shoot at noon. Sometimes you're gonna do both of these things at the same day for 10 days in a row.
Yeah.
Opposite schedules usually.
Yeah.
And then you might have a month where you do nothing, where you're out hustling every day, and it is a challenge, but you make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, we make it work. It's a hustle, She still finds time like twice a month to give me some sexual release. The rest of the month I have to take care of things, but really she doesn't know that cinnamon roll lube was actually for me.
Marcel is going to be so happy that he brought us together. So today he posted the talk with Joe and Sarah. That's going to be a nice, entertaining, relaxing video too. What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
More where that came from.
I have this thing, especially me, her too, but I say whatever pops in my head, and I don't necessarily think about it right away. And but the good thing is that's why we work. She just laughs at all the stupid shit I say all the time.
Half the time it goes in one ear and out the other.
Yep. And why does it go in one ear and out the other? Because there's nothing stopping it in between.
Oh, that's it.
But, the thing is, I also sometimes have people who find me annoying and obnoxious. I have no idea where that comes from. Oh, the loud voice, the face. I get it. I get it. But sometimes I then think, okay, I have to break the ice somehow, and then I try to tell a joke, and then I remember that George Carlin might not be the best material for a first meet breaking the ice joke.
Yeah. Or the way I look at it is similar, except I would go for the George Carlin. Like, we don't have
go big or go home.
We don't have enough time in our lives generally to spend with the people you like, let alone people that you're not going to get along with. So when I meet new people, I always go all in right away with the weirdness, because I'm going to find out right away, are we going to get along or not? Because if we're not going to get along, I'm not putting time into it. So let's just get weird. You want to see my penis? Here it is. What do you think? Not anymore because of the whole Weinstein Me Too. I don't take my penis out anymore, but you just can't. You just can't take your penis out anymore.
That's a thought that has never crossed my mind yet, but I think it's all I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of the day. Thank you. That's very nice. That's very nice how you brand pictures into my brain of the luck I had for the last hour. What didn't happen. But I'd say I was also really, really lucky about the things that did happen in the last hour. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Joe. Again, thank you, Marcel, for making this possible. I wish you all the best. Good luck for Rootwood. Good luck for Blind and all the future projects. And I say thanks a lot for talking to us. Thanks a lot for watching us talk to you about very, very weird shit. Hope you had a great time. See you again. Ciao.
Good luck to you too, sir.